Aloha, I'm Kathy Becklin with South Maui Sustainability. We are in the Kihei School garden. It's a 10,000-foot garden that was designed and put in primarily by volunteers, and then the kids did all the planting. So we've got things growing out here, but a few weeks ago the garden was filled with kids. We had classes 4 days a week, 5 hours a day. Nio, another South Maui Sustainability person, and Kirk were both out there almost every day working with the kids. Do you want to say a few words about how it was working with the kids?
It was amazing working with the kids. There were, I think, about 540 kids from 30 different classes and their teachers out here, and we just had a really, really great time. I think what I was most struck by was how many of the kids were actually a little bit hesitant to get their hands in the dirt. I'm not sure what it is about our culture, about upbringing, but so to actually take their hands and push it into the dirt and watch them look at their hands get dirty was actually, I think, a revelation for me to see what an impact this type of a project could have for kids. So
that's really amazing to me. I'm Lorna Sass, and I'm from New York City, and very excited to be here interviewing these marvelous people. We find also I'm a docent at the Brooklyn Botanic Garden, and we find with the children that they're afraid to get their hands dirty. But I am so shocked to find that that's true here on Maui, where there's just dirt all around, not cement. What do you make of it?
Once they get their hands dirty, though, they start coming back for more. And we even had some kids that went and gathered seeds from sunflowers and brought them over to us and said, "Can you plant these for us too?" And so once they really get into it and get their hands dirty and get their feet wet, they're all into it. They love it. Yeah.
The excitement the kids share when they change classes between recess. You can imagine 900 kids on this small campus that is probably built for 400 or 500. I really don't know, but the whole campus rotates during recess periods and lunch periods and everything. So it's really amazing to have all the kids come by here and shout out your name and go, "Hi Nio," and "How's my plants?" And it's really, really rewarding to be a part of this project.
So even though these children live around so many farms and what I would think of as an agricultural island, you're saying that they don't have hands-on experience growing. Is that correct?
Yeah, most of the kids that go to school here, their parents are workers in the tourist trades. And even though they live and have houses here, the parents often have many jobs and stuff. So, they don't have time. And the school classroom is so focused that they don't have time to get outside and do things. So we were just delighted to have this opportunity. It started with 3 tiny beds last year in this one second grade class, and it's just exploded. And so we're trying to get more teachers to put into their curriculum ways to get out into the garden.
We're actually finding it a little bit difficult right now to do that because of what we have in Hawaii right now is furlough days, which is where they cut some school days and school time. And like lots of states, teachers seem to have to be teaching to tests versus getting real world experience for their students. So we're finding that they're a little bit pressed to actually get out here, but we're working right now to find some really creative ways. We hope to the teachers will find to incorporate the curriculum into getting the kids outdoors. Because one teacher stopped by there, she goes, "This will be like the first and only day over this 2 months period that I'll be able to get my kids outside." And I think that's a little bit sad, but at the same time I'm filled with hope and joy for this project and what it's going to bring to kids.
Is there any way to use the Furlough Friday as a time for the garden? Or is the school completely shut down on Friday? And I guess the school buses aren't running and all that.
There is, I believe, a YMCA program or some other type of program that meets here when I'm up here looking after the garden on Fridays. There are some kids in the cafeteria, so we've kind of had some discussions amongst some of the group members about trying to incorporate an after-school program using the garden to get the kids out here a little bit more, maybe a before-school program. They do have a paid person, a certified person that's already part of an after-school program. We thought maybe we might go to part of that, but not anything we've really pursued very far, because at this point it's just been all about this garden and getting the kids planting. And now that that's done, take a little breather. We're going to get some more mulch spread out here, maybe another couple of beds or something, and tidied up and we'll be ready to go to the next phase of things.
So I see you have raised beds. Would someone like to speak about what went into that decision and how you brought in the soil and what kind of special needs these beds require?
Susan White was our garden designer, and she's a green designer. She worked with a couple people from around the state. We had 3 of the beds from last year, the raised beds, so we made a few more and have that. These rice wattles here.
Oh, is that what these black?
They're not really rice, but they were originally rice, so they call them rice wattles. But they're filled with. It's like
Like a
weed cloth, but it's very compacted with
filled with mulch and stuff. I
mulch
think
and
these are
stuff
filled with
inside.
mulch. These over here are called wiki beds, which is a new design from some gentleman, I think, for the Big Island or
on Oahu.
That I think they contributed to the program just as a little promo bit, as well as to see how they work. And they're actually doing very, very well, surprisingly. We were very hesitant to planting them because we didn't quite know how. But they've done really well for the garden so far. They actually have a good mix of soil, and they're supposed to be good for about 2 years before that has to be changed out.
So this wiki bed, part of it is it comes with the soil in it,
comes
and
with the
it's
soil,
fertilized already.
Fertilized, back guano, all kinds of really, really great, fantastic
It's organic.
stuff. Organic stuff.
Yep.
And then it has a. Go ahead.
You can actually put these together in almost any shape or form. I was asking him if you could make them on a vertical wall, and he said, yeah, you can do that. So, each one of these is easy to handle by a person, so it's a really unique design.
And it hooks right up to a garden hose. Maybe you can put up to 100 of them in a row. You can just have them all side by side, just have a thick garden that way. We've learned a lot from using them.
What have you learned?
Well, we've learned that they work, for one.
Yeah, the plants are doing beautifully.
And that the kids can actually get up much closer and be involved with the plant on an intimate level, as opposed to some of these beds that kind of adopt certain plants, even if it's not their own, for coming out and sketching. And like one of the second grade science classes was out this morning, and they were doing some sketching and measuring and stuff. And they were able to get much closer to the plants here. Then some of them had some plants that were out in the middle of the bed, so that's been a really nice thing. Everything's just right there and lined up in neat form. The other thing is we learned, maybe not so much about what we learned about this type of bed system, but about our other beds. We had some watering issues early on.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about this environment in South Kihei, is it?
South Kihei, Kathy might be able to better speak to that.
So this is actually in central Kihei, but most of Kihei is predominantly sand. You have a lot of big boulders right under the soil, and as we are feeling today, warm, dry winds. So irrigation is very important. Most people that have success with irrigation actually irrigate twice a day because the soil is so sandy that it goes right through and stuff. There's definitely plants that do better and can sustain without a lot of water. Our sweet potatoes are thriving. But your classics, your lettuce and tomatoes and stuff, we find that good irrigation, light twice a day is the best way to go with the winds and hot weather.